Hello everyone, myself Dr. Shafia Sheikh, Assistant Professor, Department of Sociology, Abhyudayananda Senior College. And today we are going to begin with a new course called Fundamental Principle of Social Research. Before we start the individual topic, let us understand what this course is all about. We all live in society and every day we observe different social situations. We see changes in family relationship, education, employment, technology, social media, culture, inequality, migration, and many other aspects of life. But as students, we should not simply accept what we see or hear. We should learn to ask questions such as why this is happening, who is affected, what are the reasons behind it, how can we find reliable evidence? This is where social research becomes important. Social research is a systematic way of studying society and social behavior. It helps us move beyond personal opinions and assumptions and understand social reality using evidence, data, and scientific methods. In this course, we will learn the fundamental principles and process involved in conducting social research. We will understand how to identify a social problem, a research problem, develop research questions, review existing literature, formulate objectives and hypotheses, select appropriate research methods, collect and analyze data, and finally, present research findings. We will also learn about different approaches and methods of social research, such as quantitative, qualitative research, survey, interview, observation, sampling, and data analysis. By the end of this course, the goal is not simply to know the definition of research, the goal is to develop a research mindset, the ability to look at a social issue, ask meaningful questions, collect evidence systematically, analyze that evidence, and arrive at a logical conclusion. So, through this course, I want you to think like a researcher, observe, question, investigate, analyze, and conclude based on evidence. With this understanding, let us begin our first unit, social research and introduction, starting with the meaning, significance of social research. So the objective of this topic is that to introduce the students about the meaning, nature, and significance of social research in understanding social phenomena. And after this topic, you are able to explain the meaning and significance of social research and its role in understanding society. Students, research does not mean simply searching something on Google or reading a book. Research means that we have a question or problem and we systematically investigate it to arrive at a dependable answer. For example, suppose we want to know why are some college students frequently absent in the class. We cannot simply say they are lazy. This is just going to be an assumption. Instead, we can conduct a research, and in that, we should have to identify the problem, why they are absent, collect the information from the student, analyze the information, identify patterns, and then draw a conclusion. This is research. Now, as in the slide I have given, what is mean by research? Re means again and again and search to find out something. Here the idea that research involves careful and repeated investigation. We don't immediately accept the first answer we get. We ask, is the information correct? Is there evidence for the same? Can we verify it? Is there any another explanation? Therefore, research involves a systematic search for facts and answer. Now let's understand each stage. First, observation. First, we observe a phenomena or identify a problem. For example, we observe that many students are absent from college. Okay. Now, second, the collection of data. Now, we have to collect the information about the issue. For example, through questionnaires, interview, records, or observation, we need to collect the data about the same, that why the students are remaining absent in the college. Now, the third will be the analysis of the data. Now, we have to examine the information collected. We look for, like we have to analyze the pattern, similarity, and the differences relationship. So, finally, we draw a conclusion based on the evidence. That the conclusion should come from the data, not from your personal assumption, that you may will say that students are not coming to the college because um, they are working, like, but this will just going to be your assumption. But when you will going to collect the data in real, you may will going to find that your assumption may will go wrong. So we have to find out the reality, we have to find out the facts, and this will going to be uh, happen correct when you will going to do the collection data in an appropriate manner. Students, as I have mentioned here, arbitrary method of seeking answer to question is based on imagination, blind belief, or impression. It will going to give you the vague or inaccurate answer. When we are talking about a scientific method and when we are talking about the research, so it is, you have to keep this thing in your mind, that it is very important to keep the one principle in your mind, that is research conclusion must be based on evidence. A researcher doesn't decide answer first and then search for the information to support it. Instead, we have to identify the problem, collect the data related to it, analyze the data, and give the conclusion. This is something is going to call as a scientific approach. Okay, so suppose people believe, like I'm giving you an example, that students from a particular background always perform poorly. A researcher should not simply accept this statement that particular uh, students, those who are having a XYZ background, is always performing poorly. Instead, the researcher should go for the investigation whether the statement is actually supported by evidence. Therefore, research can ask a question, investigate, verify, and explain. This is one of the most important purpose of the research. Now, in this, as the PPT explains, that arbitrary method is based on imagination, blind belief, impression. It describes a vague or inaccurate. Imagine someone says, I think young people don't respect elders anymore. Why do they believe this? Perhaps they saw one incident. That is only a personal impression. It cannot automatically represent the whole society. So personal opinion is not accepted here. What is accepted? That is research finding. The scientific method is to describe is that it should be a systematic, it should be a rational, objective, precise, and based on the verifiable evidences. Okay, so it is very important when researchers use the scientific method. They don't simply say, I believe this is true. They ask, what evidences do we have? The evidence should be examined logically, systematically. So remember this line, the scientific method is equals to systematic, rational, plus objective, plus evidence based. So now let's move to the meaning of social research. As you all know that sciences are broadly divided into two sciences. One is called as natural sciences, which is also can be called as a physical science, and the other is called as social sciences. Now social sciences includes all the disciplines dealing with the human life, human behavior, and institution. For example, anthropology, history, economics, education, commerce, demography. These all comes under the human sciences or social sciences. So, students, social sciences is concerned with the understanding of human beings in society. For example, economic is all about the economic behavior. History is all about the human societies and their past. Demography is all about the study of population. Education is educational processes and institution. When I'm talking about anthropology, so it is all about the study of human beings and their culture. So social science, social research can study many different dimensions of social life. Social sciences are not exact science in the same way as a physical science because they deal with the human beings. Human nature and the social environment are complex. Therefore, understanding and predicting human behavior is very much difficult. Okay, think about this like if you study an object under control condition, it is behavior may be relatively predictable, but humans can change their opinions. They respond differently to the different situation, have different experiences, be influenced by the surrounding. Therefore, human behavior is very much complex and difficult to predict perfectly. This is why the condition this is why the conducting social research requires careful methodology. So, what is mean by social research? In this slide, we are trying to understand what is mean by social research. So social research is nothing but it is a systematic method of exploring, analyzing, and conceptualizing human life. Its purpose is to extend, correct, or verify knowledge about human behavior, social life, and social phenomena. So, in simple words, we can say social research is a scientific and systematic study of society and human behavior. It helps us to understand what is happening, why is happening, how different social factors are related, and whether existing explanations are correct. Now, we will see what is the purpose of social research. The purpose of social research is nothing but to discover new facts, to discover new knowledge, new interpretation, new interrelationship, verify the old knowledge, explain social phenomena, and correct misconception. Suppose there is an existing belief about social issue. Research can either support it with the help of evidence and agrees with it, or modify it with the help of evidence, show it is only partly correct, or with the help of research, you can reject it with the help of evidence that these evidences are not supporting these ideas or beliefs. Therefore, research is not only about finding something completely new, it is also about testing what we already think we know. Now let's move to the definition of social research. The first definition is given by C.A. Moser, and according to him, social research is defined as a systematized investigation to gain new knowledge about social phenomena and problems. So here he is focusing on three important ideas. The first is systematized investigation. The research follows an organized procedure. Yes, when we are doing a research, we have a procedure. According to that only, we have to continue with our research. So it is systematized. Second, the second very important uh, idea over here is new knowledge, that with the help of research we are increasing our knowledge, what we know. Okay, and the third is social phenomena or the problems. The subject concerns society and social life. So if asked to define social research, Moser's definition is useful because it is short and easy to remember according to the exam purpose. Now there are the other definition which is given by P.V. Young, and P.V. Young describes social research as a scientific undertaking using logical methods to discover and analyze facts, relationship, causal relationship or explanation, and principles governing social phenomena. Now, P.V. Young emphasizing here the scientific and logical nature of social research. The researcher wants to understand facts, facts about what is happening. Then, the most important, interrelationship. Okay, how are different factors connected? Third, causal explanation, what may explain the phenomena. And the last one is the general principle, what broader pattern can be identified. Okay, so this is what the P.V. Young have tried to explain, and we can define his definition, we can categorize his, or we can make the part of his definition into the facts, interrelationship, explanation, and the general principle. Now let's move to understand the significance of research, as this slides is focusing about the significance of social research and is talking about problem solving is the thrust of most research. Social problems affect people directly, and research can help provide solutions and improve people's conditions. Research is useful because society constantly faces problems. For example, child labor, illiteracy, addiction, worker absenteeism, etc. etc. Now, research help us to understand the nature and causes of these problems. Only after understanding a problem properly can appropriate solutions be considered. As I have written here, the societal social research is also focusing on the societal behavior. It studies and analyzes behavior and considers steps needed to modify to achieve broader social goals. Society consists of people whose behavior affects other people. Therefore, researcher needs to study pattern of behavior. Now, I'll give you the one example for this. If a particular behavior is contributing to a social problem, research can help us to understand why that behavior occurs, what factors influence it, and what interventions may be appropriate. Now, for this, we need the social research to contribute to the development of methodology for dealing with social issues. Now, examples I'm giving you again, like executive stress, worker ethics, leadership style, child labor, women's illiteracy, drug addiction, etc. So, different problems require different methods of investigation. For example, studying people's personal experiences may require different approach from studying large scale population pattern. So research doesn't only produce finding, it is also contribute to developing appropriate ways of studying social problems. So the other significance of research is that research is contributing to the societal development. Yes, it is helping us to develop the scientific temper, creativity, innovation, basic knowledge, and also applied knowledge. Research helps society to become more knowledgeable. It encourages people to ask the question, investigate problem, think carefully, think scientifically, develop new ideas, apply knowledge to the practical problems. So research contribute to the overall development of society. A next significance is formulation and revaluation of theory. Yes, social research is helping us in formulating the new theories. It is providing us enough evidence to develop a new explanation. And the second is as reevaluating existing theory. Yes, of course, the theories which is already existing, we can also, with the help of evidence, we can reevaluate these theories. So yes, of course, it will help us to uh, theories are not only something that we can simply memorize or never ask the question, but research allows us to test and consider the theories. So research and theory, they are connected to one another and go hand in hand. The next significance of social research is all about social planning and prediction and social control. Yes, the when we are talking about the social planning, prediction. So social planning research helps in designing the appropriate plans for our society. Research is also helping us to anticipate possible outcomes, and also it is helping us to identify the deviation between the desired and actual outcome and assist in responding to them. Before taking action, we need information. For example, before designing a social problem, policymakers need to understand the existing situation, the need of people, possible outcome. Research provides evidence that can support such plannings. Next, the importance or the significance of social research, that it is contributing to social welfare. So it can help determine what is beneficial or harmful in areas such as economy, industry, consumers, students, stock market, etc. So the basic idea is research produces knowledge that can be used to understand social conditions and contribute to improving them. Therefore, research practical importance, not merely academic importance, but overall. Our next significance is social research catches the dynamics of social institution and phenomena. So they continuously, as we all know, that social institution and phenomena are not static, it is continuously changing. So research is helping us to identify the changes which is taking place in the society, to understand those changes and respond to the changing social condition. The word dynamic means change and the movement. Society today is not exactly as the same as society in the past. So therefore research must continuously study social changes. Students, students, I hope you all have understood the meaning, definition and significance of social research. So this slide will going to help you that if this type of question will come in your exam, then what and how you will going to write it. So this is just the structure for your answer and the review of my lecture, that in the introduction you can write the research and explain that what is research. That research is nothing but it is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing and interpreting data to arrive at a dependable solution. How we can explain this? That research is nothing but it is a systematic and scientific study of human life, social behavior and social phenomena. There are the two definitions given in this lecture series. One is by C.A. Moser and the other is given by P.V. Young. Next is significance of social research, which you can explain in the 8 major points. That uh, it helps us in problem solving. It is also giving us a modification of social behavior. It is also helping us to use the methodology. It is also helping us for the societal development, understanding the theory, rebuilding or reevaluating the theory, planning and prediction and control for social welfare and for understanding social change. So overall, when social research helps us understand society scientifically and provides knowledge that can contribute to addressing social problems and societal development. So students, here we have completed with our topic, meaning, definition, significance of social research. I hope you have understood this lecture. We'll continue in the next lecture and I'm going to cover the criteria for good research in the next lecture. Thank you.